So
It's like, y'all ever seen a fart in HD?
Oh, have you heard one in HD? Would you like to?
it looks like an ether resupply.
Oh my god.
Smells like an ether resupply too, as a matter of fact. Weird how that works. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 281 of the Planet Destiny podcast. Your guide for everything going on over the course of this week in Destiny. Really special episode we've got this week because we've had a lot of stuff go on. The Stasis nerfs went live this week. We had a monumental episode of the Firing Range podcast hosted by a bunch of friends of ours where they got a few Bungie employees, including Kevin Yanez, who we just heard from in the TWAB a week or two ago, talking about major sandbox changes, how they came up with a lot of this stuff. They talked about Stasis as a design, as a subclass. They talked about things they think are a little too strong right now, Dead Man's Tale, and things that need a little bit of help, Vex Mythoclast. We're going to be going through all of that. We've got an Iron Banner coming up next week. So much stuff to talk about. Joining us this week, we have our mainstay, the one and only, the Rock himself, Mr. Danfinity.
I'm the Rock.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
Like I said, my
Just,
thighs hurt a little bit. Not unlike
Right.
the Rock's, if you catch my drift.
Damn.
His thighs gonna look like Captain Falcon in Super Smash Brothers.
Oh, he's hitting knees. This man is landing knees everywhere. I like to imagine that's what you were doing up in the mountains. You were just giving the knee of justice to mountain lions.
The old
all
Dune
across the
Marchers.
place. Right. Pretend it's Falco.
Oh my god.
Titan! Okay, go ahead.
Good to see you, buddy.
to see you.
Joining us as a guest host this week, you know him, you love him. He's been on the show before. The one, the only, my homie, LightrazerDD. It's good to see you, man.
Yo.
How you doing?
This week has been a different experience.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm sure it has nothing to do with your.
Good, bad, other? What column
Glad I
are we
chose-
in?
Say call, god damn it. Oh,
Light got robbed before we went live today. He was robbed of a certain column. It comes after the 6th column, but we're not gonna talk about it. Either way, thanks for being on the show tonight, man. It's great to have you here as a guest host.
thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. It's good stuff. And as our special guest for the night, we have got a good one for you. Ooh, man. Mr. BCube. Thank you for joining the show tonight.
Appreciate it. I'm happy I'm here. It's I'm a little nervous here, I haven't done this in a while, so it's like it's really cool.
Well,
We're super happy to have you here. Looking forward to getting your perspective on a lot of things. In particular, I wanted to ask you. I saw you were using a lot of Fighting Lion, that multi-mac, the SMG. How did that combination pop up?
Well, it came up yesterday night. Brother of mine, things goes by Rebuking, leader of Masenko. He taught me how to use it last night. He's really good with these grenade launchers. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna give it a shot. I never had a chance to play with it because I'm thinking like, oh, it's a grenade launcher. I don't want to. It's just ugh. So I decided to use it last night, and I found that it was very enjoyable. I was just a nuisance to people, and then everybody changed their loadout to grenade launchers, and I'm like, this is great.
That's when you know you succeeded. When you
This is
killed enough
fantastic.
people that you see them go into their menu and suddenly they're using the same thing as you. It's like, oh yeah, I got that person. That person is cursing my name as we speak.
Oh
It's a
yeah,
good feeling.
a couple tea bags here and there, and it's just it was a good time. I found a lot of enjoyment in it.
Right on. I think it's funny. The Fighting Lion has like always been like on meta, off meta, on meta, off meta, and it's funny to me how the class of weapons being breech-loaded grenade launchers that everybody thought sucked when they first got introduced is now like the bane of so many people's existence. It's just the duality of Destiny. But again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's great to have you here. For those in the audience who may not know who you are, why don't we take a moment to start this off by allowing you to introduce yourself, tell people who you are, what it is you do.
Hi, I am BCube. I stream a lot of Destiny because I still enjoy it after 7 years of it being out. Well, let's see. I am an admin for Masenko. We're currently building on as far as trying to get help other content creators grow, kind of put them in the limelight here and there. Also, personal, I am a dad of 3 kids, so I try my best to have enough energy to stream. Sometimes I stream at 3 or 5 in the morning just because I can't sleep because my son doesn't want to sleep. Or I am, if I have a day, I usually try my best to get on the stream and do as much as I can and just hang out with folks in the community and just have a good time. I there's some gripes here and there about the game, but as a parent, I don't have time. I just want to have a good time. I just want to have a good time, shoot some people in the face, and call it a day.
Right on. And I think that's kind of a point that sometimes we get a little lost in. You know, people talking about, Stasis, the state of the game, the story, and all this kind of stuff. We sometimes lose sight of the fact that there are people, the vast majority of people, who just jump onto it because it's fun to play. It's fun to jump on, play a little Crucible. It's fun to jump on, do a strike, and all that kind of stuff. And every now and again, we need to take a step back from psychoanalyzing every little thing that Bungie does and just shoot some guns and have a little bit of fun.
I agree. Psychoanalyzing.
Been a whole lot of that going on this season, let me tell you.
Oh man.
Boy.
Has there been ever?
If you just freeze it for 2.5 seconds and your grenade launcher launches at 2.5 meters, you'll get them. Like, wait.
At what
Can I
point do
just
the
shoot my
trains?
gun?
In what town do the trains meet?
Hey man, if one grenade is traveling from Midtown at about 45 meters per second and the other train is traveling from Sea Dock at about 5 meters per second, how quickly will you get clapped by this shotgun? Like that.
It depends.
That's what's
Are you
going on there.
frozen or are you not frozen?
No, not frozen anymore because you can't freeze me because you ain't got your super yet. I aced the test, Dan. I aced that every time.
Round of applause.
And we will be discussing those stasis nerfs over the course of the show. 'Cause I'm assuming everybody here's had a chance to play a bit of Crucible after those nerfs went into effect, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, that's a beautiful look of concern on your face, LightrazerDD. You wanna talk about something?
A lot of chaos reaches. A lot of chaos reaches.
Did you keep a tally?
Of how much you ran into it?
They are the new revenants.
You think so?
Yeah, especially for trials. Get ready for 3 chaos reaches. At least 4 out of 5 games, or 4 out of 7 games in a card.
I can see that. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people use the shoes, but a lot of people just don't use the helmet. Like, if y'all want the chaos reach faster, like you'll have the helmet itself. It's the crown and tempest.
Yeah.
Crown
Yeah.
Literally give you the same effect with the boots if you get kills with like your nade, which you can do because the storm nade is actually very, very overpowered. And get you, and then you'll get the same effect as boots, but from the start of the super bar. So yeah, a lot of people don't use it, but it's out there.
So you're seeing a lot of Kamehamehas in trials right now. Because you can recharge that super real quick in between rounds, man.
Yeah, you can.
Listen, I don't know what you're talking about. Chaos Reach is fine, everybody. Don't worry about it. There's nothing happening. It's like that, what is it? That Top Gear meme. Shadebinder gets nerfed. Oh no! Switches to Chaos Reach. Anyway.
Oh, it's just fine.
So back to what I was saying. See those nerds over there?
Get blasted. It's good stuff. So, Cube, one of the questions I always like to start these things off with, since this is a podcast that's primarily about Destiny, we don't always just talk about Destiny, but of course, Destiny is the central theme here. How did you get your start with this game? What was your initial experience with this franchise?
Oh wow. When I first moved, I just saw a random commercial, and it had a Warlock throwing a Nova Bomb, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever seen.
Yeah.
So I got into it, and I have not stopped playing it. Just I have ever since year one of actually the beta. I still have been just trucking along, going through the many changes that they did with the game, and it's been a fun ride so far. To be completely honest, are you referring to like maybe streaming it or just actually just jumping into the game?
You can talk about all of it if you'd like to.
Oh, okay. Well, streaming it was for my friends to watch. I didn't really know what Twitch was until I found an LFG group and they was telling me about it, and I said, "All right, well, I'll give it a shot." And it's been on like here and there, but as soon as I got my first child, it was like my outreach. It was like that keeps me in line, because it's always cool to have people that just want to hang out and talk about a video game, and instead of me hearing a baby cry for 24 hours. so it was nice to kind of get along with that. A really good fun fact though is that I still remember it was one of my highlights. I still remember when we were stuck on King's Fall. It was the day that it came out. We were stuck on King's Fall about 9 hours. So I was looking in LFG, and the person that hit me up was actually MTashed. he actually joined our fire team group, and we got it on the third try because we were we kept on failing at the jumping puzzle. But that was a pretty big highlight for me. But other than that, it was I've been still stuck with this game. I still love the game, even when it goes through its gripes. I just know that it's Bungie's way of trying new things and kind of trying to bring more population in. So I'm here for the ride still. So
yeah, I think that's a pretty good sign when the story is, and it is often with people. Yeah, I saw a commercial for this like weird game that Bungie, the makers of Halo, were making, and now 7 years later, I'm still playing the franchise.
I'm still playing the game.
I think it's a pretty good sign for the job that Bungie's done with this. Definitely. So I think that's a really interesting way to get into this. An LFG experience where you randomly get MTash in for a run through King's Fall, which is pretty amazing, I'd have to say. So we'll flash forward to the current era of Destiny 2. We've got the Season of Splicers going on right now. Whole lot of stuff going on with that. How do you feel about the current season?
I like it. I'm one of the players that abused the heck out of Stasis when it came out.
God bless you.
Look, I thought it was neat. I hate going against it, but I'm a Warlock. I'm a Warlock main. I love being a Warlock. So being able to bait supers with a melee was like, it was dope. And then being able to shoot my frozen ball across the map and just be like, I don't have to worry about this. Oh, there's a Chaos Reach. There's a little corner right here. I'm gonna stay right here. Throw right up because he's going to try to pop it. Pops a little bit. Boop. So, I've been having a good time. The changes I've been having a great time with because I'm not getting frozen every 2 seconds. I can actually shoot my gun at people and not worry about a cold snap coming around the corner, like literally 9 years away, and just like, oh, hey, what's up, man? You're right there. I'm gonna come freeze you real quick.
Yeah, because those things would basically track you on their own. Same as the Warlock melee. You could just kind of throw it at a corner and watch it go around and find somebody for you. So a little bit less of that going on now, huh?
Yep, a little bit less, And I've been trying to do different. I've been using my light subclass more, and yeah, but I'm not. I only get on Chaos Reach when I need to. Like if it's like 3 Chaos Reaches on the other team, of course I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna get on Chaos Reach because there's 3 of them. So, but usually I'm either on Top Tree Dawn because I can move fast as heck, or I'll just be Nova, just be Devour Lock.
Yeah. I mean, it leads me to wondering about some of the changes they made to Stasis, of course. It brought a lot of those classes in line. Obviously, there's going to be other outliers that jump up. I think if you were to ask people right now, they'd probably point at Top Tree Dawn and, and Chaos Reach as being, we'll say, fairly
Dummy
powerful
easy.
classes. Listen. Easy like Sunday morning. I'll take it. But I wonder. I have to wonder what Bungie is going to be doing with that, because obviously they're looking at these things from kind of a larger picture here. We just went through these massive Stasis changes, and I guess that's where we can go next and talk a bit about those changes, get everybody here's idea for them. But do you think they're going to do something to Chaos Reach?
Yes.
Yeah?
Well, maybe not Chaos Reach specifically, but Geomags probably.
Yeah. What would you like to see them do?
I honestly want to rework for what Geomags do. I think the super energy needs to go. Like,
you think so?
Yeah, one of my friends said make the hitting enemies like part of Chaos Reach itself, and then just completely rework Geomags.
That's interesting. So for those out there who maybe don't have the Geomag stabilizers, there are a pair of exotic Warlock boots that make it so that hitting enemies with your Chaos Reach extends the time of your Chaos Reach by a significant amount. And also it has a secondary ability of topping off your super when you get past a certain threshold on your super bar. Just moving around will continue to fill that up until you get your super. It means you're going to get your super maybe 1 or 2 more times in the average Crucible match than everybody else.
Yeah.
I could see them doing something about the topping off part there. What does everybody else think?
So I think they do need to rework Geomags, but even without Geomags, you still get your super pretty fast.
You do.
Even when you're like killing people, like because you have those ionic traces. So what I really think they should really do is, I don't think the super itself needs to be changed. I think the ionic trace part needs to be changed, because when you get the ionic trace, you kill somebody, it gives you a little bit of super energy. Yeah. And then the ionic trace, you grab it, it gives you a little bit more super energy. So it cuts down your super time, and you got 100 intellect. You'll get it pretty fast. I really think like ionic trace, maybe I would change it up to do like maybe a stack effect of like having pulse wave for a small amount of seconds or something like that, or change it where like it goes towards your abilities that's on cooldown, you know, that way it won't affect the super regen. Because without if you stand there and just let it sit there and not get any ion traces, and you kill somebody and you just let the ion traces go, it's actually in line with other supers. It's just you get it really fast.
Well,
you're getting double the gains there.
Yeah.
And part of that also, like, so this kind of goes into the firing range podcast talk with Kevin Giannis. Like, he talked about the power fantasy of the supers, and their reality and where they fit in the sandbox. Like, some of them are like very useful utilitarian, and then some of them are like anime crazy. And specifically pointing to Chaos Reach and I think Top Tree Dawn Blade as 2 of the like anime crazy ones, right?
Yeah.
And so, though I think part of what he had, I could be misquoting here, but I believe when Chaos Reach was brought up, he did say that part of the splash damage could be reined in a little bit,
right,
for that super. That way, it wouldn't just like do crazy damage everywhere, but you could probably like hone in what all it did. Would that help fix the super in your minds?
Funny thing about that, The day the update went live and they said they nerfed Chaos Reach splash damage, we tested it and you were still getting, like, on dead cliffs. I was behind the corner of a building that,
Mhm.
and I was still dying through the wall.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You still, the splash damage is still there. it's still there. I'm beaming people across the map behind a pillar or something, and they're
Right.
hiding, just sitting there like, please.
The damage still seems to creep around surfaces to hit,
Mhm.
as long as the surface itself isn't too thick.
Yeah.
You're gonna get blasted by the energy. So I think, yeah, Bungie's probably got a little bit more work to do to figure that one out. And what they're probably going to do is cut down the impact AoE on it so that it's not constantly hitting and splashing. I don't know. That's a weird problem to deal with because it's a constant beam effect rather than being like a single projectile. It's not like a Nova Bomb where it hits once and then detonates. It's constantly hitting a part, and I might imagine that's probably partially what's causing some problems here for people who are trying to hide behind stuff. I'm not exactly sure what Bungie would do about that. I think the notion of changing ionic traces is really interesting. If they I see that as being one of two things, and it's both the things you mentioned, Cube. Either make it so that ionic trace gives you ability energy for the abilities that you have currently on cooldown. So if you throw a grenade, ionic trace is going to give you a little bit of grenade energy. If you use a melee, it's going to give you a little bit of melee energy. If you've got both on cooldown, it gives you a very small amount of energy for both. I think that's one way they could probably do that. Or, the other way. The pulse wave thing is a really interesting idea. But I'd be concerned about Warlocks constantly having access to pulse wave. I mean, as a Warlock main, I'm 100% down with that. But I could see, oh my goodness, all that extra agility. I could see that being...
We'll be flying around the map.
Oh, it'd be great. It'd be fantastic. But yeah, I think that's an interesting issue there with Dawnblade. I'm much more afraid of them changing Dawnblade because I love the synergy that class has right now. In both PvP, of course, and in PvE. The synergy that Dawnblade has with a really strong super, some of the best movement options in the game, and a circular energy regen system of throwing that grenade that follows people and explodes, and then, getting grenade energy and all that kind of, or that, not grenade, but the melee, and then getting kills in the air to get your melee energy back immediately feels super good, and I don't want them to destroy that. I have no idea how Bungie's going to try to rein that in.
They're going to hit its mobility.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, they're 100%. They're going to hit the mobility.
That's going to hurt real bad.
What I think they should do, I think what will bring Dawnblade aligned is have the dash either put down to one dash like they did in D1, or they can make it tied to the melee ability. So let's say you do a dash and it cuts half your melee ability. You do another dash, it cuts another half. So you have a choice to either throw the melee that you have and not dash, or you can either use your dash. And that way you have to you can spec it out for that in your armor. And that way it kind of creates a synergy without losing that mobility, But you have a choice if you are in a situation, can I throw my melee or can I dash out of here?
I'll make a trade with you. We take that system, make it ability energy rather than melee. Please, for the love of God. I don't use my rift anywhere. Just make it that.
No, I like this
That would
trade-off.
I like the trade-off.
I like this trade-off. No, yeah, keep
Listen.
it the melee. That's great.
This anti-warlock sentiment needs to stop.
Is there any other way that we can reduce the effectiveness of warlocks? Let's keep pitching. Let's go.
Cut it out.
See, I'm a Warlock main myself.
Oh no, I know.
Sometimes facing these Dawnblades and being able to be on Widow's Court, I'm way over at the bus and he's over at heavy and he can throw his melee, just able to track way out there.
Yep.
It gets to me. It's like, oh man, if I'm able to shoot my gun and not have it double damage me behind a truck, it'd be nice.
Right. Yeah, I think there's some interesting interesting changes Bungie's going to have to make when we move on into there. And you know what? Let's go ahead and just dive on into the big conversation. I guess we can sort of mix the topics about the stasis changes with firing range, since it was all kind of one big conversation we were having there.
Yeah, it's kind of all wibbly jibbly, namby. Blah, blah, blah. So like we can toss it all together.
Mm-hmm.
So, how does everybody feel about the stasis changes? I mean, we kind of covered it lightly, but I'm assuming everybody's had a chance at least to go into PvP and experience the post stasis world. So, how's everybody feeling about it? Starting with you, Cube.
Stasis got hit hard. it got hit hard. It's that behemoth. That thing's
man.
Betty White around the corner. You see somebody flying. It's just so slow in the air. I feel that the changes are good. I feel that there is some kind of skill gap being created with the changes, because in Behemoth you can't like we used to. You just can't fly around, get out somewhere, and this and that. I feel like they want it to be more defensive. Say there's a hammer coming or something, you can slam the ground in front of you, or more up close. I like it because I can use my light subclasses. I like it. I'm able to shoot my gun.
Yeah.
I don't have to be frozen around the corner. I don't have to worry about if this person has a cold snap nade, and I like that the cold snap nade stop his tracking or stop his aim assistance at a certain distance. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, I'd say one really important thing that you brought up there is the fact that you feel like you can use a light subclass now without gimping yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It was really nice to be able to jump into Crucible this week and like not have to deal with constant freezing, not have to deal with seeing the flying, moving, immortal tank known as Behemoth coming towards you, and just be like, all right, well, I know what's coming. I know what's happening. So it's definitely been like a nice breath of fresh air, especially when it comes to like the slowing effects and the freezing. Like we talked a bit about this last week, I do believe.
Mm-hmm.
If I get frozen, I just knew, okay, I'm dead.
Yep.
That's charge it to the game. I'm getting clapped there. But getting slowed is far more frustrating to me than getting straight up frozen. Because getting slowed is like, it is the antithesis of everything that Destiny builds itself on, with the movement and the options that you have there. Not being able to perform that in such a critical moment is really frustrating to me, and so I'm glad to see that that's been cut down on quite a lot.
Well, and that kind of goes back to a part of the conversation with Kevin Giannis, where he was saying that like the movement game in Destiny 2, like compared to Destiny 1 around Rise of Iron, which is kind of like a benchmark of the series, at least in PvP, if I'm remembering that correctly. The movement game has become really, really strong, right? You can go super fast with a lot of different things. And he was saying that they wouldn't be taking things back to Destiny Year 1, Destiny 2 Year 1 mobility, but they would be adjusting that at some point.
Bad.
Just how do you guys feel about that sentiment of maybe slowing down your motions a little bit more versus like what we have here today?
Ooh.
Yes.
That's worrisome.
Like how so? Because I know I move around a lot faster when I'm on the Titan, right? Even with Dune Marchers. I've been going through and bamming people right in the chest, lightning going off. But like I move pretty swiftly. And this past couple of seasons of being a Titan main forcibly has taught me a few things about like their movement, and it does feel pretty impeccable, like how fast I'm able to go. So I feel like in certain instances, especially with like movement abilities, such as like a shoulder charge or something like that, I feel like those things can be slowed down just like a hair and not really hurt the game overall. But then again, I'm not a PvP guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a good comparison that Kevin made, talking about using the benchmark of Rise of Iron as their starting point there. I certainly wouldn't want things moved back to where we were when we started D2.
No.
Absolutely
No.
not. I think that was
No.
Bungie. I think that was Bungie fighting against the waves of its own game.
Yeah.
This is the game where people used the physics and learned how to move fast. Like we learned how to use the movement options available to us, and that's just kind of the way the gameplay has evolved in the years. And I think Bungie fighting against that was definitely the wrong move. And I think that proved to be the wrong move, when they eventually came out with the Go Fast update, however many years ago that was. I'd be really wary of them trying to reduce movement options even more.
Mm-hmm.
But when I think of movement options, it's Top Tree Dawnblade that I think is the standard bearer. Now that Titan Behemoth is dead, buried, and has had his grave kicked upon. And when I think about it, rather than just taking all the movement options away from Dawnblade, like, I almost want to see them add more. Why don't Titans have Twilight Garrison?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't they have their aerial shoulder charge dodge move? Why can't Hunters get a blink back? I don't know. Maybe I'm still stuck in D1 mode when it comes to the crazy movement we had back there.
TVL, Hunters do have blink. It's called Backrus.
Ooh, yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. So just my point being just that I could understand why they'd want to pull back on certain things. I would just hope that they don't overdo it, because this is a game where people like to go fast. Let them go fast. I think it creates an incredible skill gap between the players. I know I get terrified thinking I'm a decent Dawnblade when I come up against some of those tier 1 dudes who like traverse the entirety of Twilight Gap in 2.5 seconds on Top Tree Dawnblade. It's like, oh no.
Oh, hey, do it.
Oh, well, I guess that's my cheeks getting clapped this round in trials. But, I see your point, though, is my point. I get it. I'd love to say that I've noticed great changes with Stasis this week. It's definitely been nicer being in Crucible, but most of my annoyance with Stasis has been replaced by my annoyance with Prometheus Lens. Thanks to momentum control.
There's a lot of that going around.
People figured it out. It's in momentum control. It is like a 2 or 3 tick kill.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like when they first came out in
Laser
trials,
tag.
and it was just
laser tag.
Except you're not dying to lag. You're actually like, because I remember laser tag. I hated that weekend. You would get tagged once, go around the corner, and then 5 seconds later you're dead.
That was it. This is Prometheus Lens by design in momentum control. Which I think Bungie said they're looking at. I don't think they made any commitments to changing the way that gun works in that game mode. But the entire point of momentum control is that your weapons deal more damage, and it takes a lot of things that are out of meta and puts them in meta. Like if you've got Jade Rabbit, I remember that used to be the meta of momentum control.
Yep,
Whip out a Jade Rabbit, 1 shot to the head, and because
get Randy's.
Oh, get Rand. Yeah, that's how I got my Randys. And but people seem to have figured out that Prometheus Lens is a rather easy, lazy way to just get easy kills in momentum, and so there's been quite a bit of that this week. I don't know if anybody else here has been playing momentum control, but it's oh boy.
Oh yeah, I've been abusing it. Fine line, 1 shot.
As you should, 100%.
I have not stepped foot in momentum control. However, I was one of those who during fun runs would use Prometheus during the Vault of Glass, and it is While it is missed there, I'm actually enjoying doing the mechanics in Vault of Glass.
Yeah.
Of the relay race. So
Oh, right, because they Bungie, alongside the Stasis update, they patched all of the Vault of Glass cheats.
They bought all the cheeses.
They bodied every last one of them.
yeah, I've got it pulled
Colony
up right
still
here.
work? They
No,
didn't say anything about Colony.
They didn't say any. They didn't say anything about Colony, and they didn't say anything about Symmetry. But both of those work the same way. I can confirm Symmetry doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
So I assume Colony doesn't either.
I've heard Colony does not work as well. However, there was a nutty video. I think it was Sweat Sickle. I think I might be attributing it incorrectly, but I believe it was Sweat Sickle, and like he froze the Praetorian, and then you just push him off the back.
Yes. Yeah.
So that took care of him.
Yeah. You can just freeze them or blind them. Grab a sword and block them. Just push them off the map.
Oh my god.
Just take the shield and push it somewhere else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not a bad way to handle that.
Back to the movement thing. I just really hope they don't take away like that base movement. Like a lot, like it's nice to actually learn how to traverse the map. You know, I don't want it to be such a. I don't want to go back to year one. Year one was that was slow. That was really slow. My Warlock could barely burst anywhere. Hunters could barely jump. Titans could barely move. it was rough. But I think if they just touch the Dawn Blade or the shoulder charge, I think it'll be in line with that. I don't think shoulder charge is such a much of a big deal because they took away the Titan skate.
They have taken that down a little bit too in past passes.
But I think Dawn Blade is probably the main issue. I think if you play a game without a Dawn Blade, it's a manageable game. You don't see somebody flying from shrine to another shrine and you're just like, whoa. Like,
130 above.
Yeah.
Do you guys see that flaming chicken?
You see that flaming chicken? Now, Twilight Garrison on a Titan, if they bring Twilight Garrison back, I'm pretty sure someone will find how to freaking skate. And then we're gonna have skating old behemoths coming around, and it's just like, oh well, we went one step forward and 5 steps back.
Yeah, it's an interesting balance that I think Bungie has to strike there, and hopefully they don't take too big of a hammer to movement as a whole. Because you're right, I wouldn't want to go back to. Nobody wants to go back to the olden days.
No. I agree. Base movement should definitely stay the same. Like, it was so painful getting across maps.
Yeah.
In like D2 year one. So like,
and you know what made it worse was the fact that we were just coming from like Age of Triumph in D1.
Yeah.
Where even though movement was, scuffed in comparison to like initial release and especially the Taken King dropping, it was so much slower in initial D2 that it was a real shock to the system. And I would hope Bungie doesn't move back in that direction. And to be fair, I don't think they will.
I think it would be like a weird like a weird theory.
Now be careful because they could be listening.
What if the movement from D1 is the initial movement they brought from D2 because it was the console movement? What if it was the same movement but they brought it over and realized that that's slow?
As somebody who played console in D1 and D2 at launch, man.
No.
D1 moved much faster than Destiny 2 year one's movement. That was it was pretty heinous. Like it was rough. On 30 frames, it already feels like you're slogging through the mud. Like now playing on PS5 and PC for as long as I have now, like I see what the difference is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, from PS4 to that. Yeah, just it wasn't as painful in D1 to move just even across a location map. Like, yeah, I don't know. Just
I
Different
actually
world,
played
man.
D1 the other day, and I was like, this is surprisingly smoother
yeah.
than than D2 PS4. I don't know
Yeah.
why. It just felt good.
Yeah. Well, you were on a PS5.
Well, that is true. That's also true.
Okay, so moving forward, let's jump into some of the Firing Range podcast bits of news we had to talk about there. Of course, for those who might have missed it, our buddies over along with DCP and the Firing Range podcast had on some Bungie devs to talk about major sandbox things. They were talking about a lot of the stuff that had to do with Stasis, the creation of that subclass, weapon balance. We got to get some in-depth information about how accuracy and aim assist works, about how Zen Moment works. Probably one of my favorite things that I learned out of that is in retrospect, it doesn't mean anything, but I thought it was just amazing, is the fact that Zen Moment, the perk, doesn't actually increase your stability. Like, that tooltip is a lie. What it does, it doesn't touch the stability stat. What it does instead is stacks a buff on you that just gives a straight reduction to recoil. Which is, I mean, some people might look at that and say, what's the difference? Well, the difference is it doesn't touch your stability stat at all. It just straight up gives you an over buff that takes away your recoil. Makes your gun just completely fire straight. It was weird to think about, but it's one of the things we learned about it. I'm assuming, has everybody here had a chance to actually watch or read about the Firing Range podcast? That episode?
I watched a good part of it, but I didn't get to I watched pretty much everything with Kevin.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Plus some clips of the rest of it.
Chris, yeah.
I watched bits and pieces. I was watching a kid climb like Spider-Man up the wall. But other than that, watch bits and pieces.
I watched most of it through the Kevin
Yeah.
interview, and then some of Chris's stuff. Then again, that was in between me sleeping for like 13 hours. So it was I remember most of what I heard
Right.
and understood less than that.
None of it.
Yeah.
I had to go over it several times to figure stuff out. And I mean, to be fair, most of the stuff they talked about was retrospective. It was it was a look back at how they made certain things rather than any sort of specific news for the future. That kind of thing could be counted on, a hand. We basically learned that Dead Man's Tale is getting looked at. They're going to do something about it. Vex Mythoclast is getting looked at. Thankfully, they're going to be doing something about it, though they don't know what quite yet, which makes me really happy because I got Vex, and oh boy,
Yeah,
This man.
that is. Oh my god!
it's
Why?
Is it bad?
awful. It's
It-
awful.
It's bad
How
in
would they do-
PvP. It's bad in PvE.
Oh
is-
my god! Why would he do that to that?
I don't know.
Why would
But
they do that
it's-
again?
Oh, no.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep,
It's-
you're right.
It's painful though, because like Vex in this, its claim to fame in this is that it has a dual firing mode as a fully automatic auto-rifled style fusion rifle, and then it turns itself into a linear fusion after you get a couple kills. Both of those modes are subpar in comparison to other things in the exact same genre. It, as an automatic auto-rifle submachine gun style weapon, has less range than submachine guns, deals less damage than submachine guns, doesn't hit anywhere near as hard. You could whip out a decently rolled stochastic variable right now, or a multi-mock, and completely dunk all over the Vex Mythoclast. And its linear fusion mode deals less damage than like a threaded needle, or really any of the other major linear fusions out there. It is...
Wow.
It's tragic. It's very tragic, and I don't know what Bungie's going to do to it. I would say it definitely needs a range increase.
Yeah.
That thing has got Modern Warfare 3 AA-12 knifing distance range, meaning it doesn't hit anything unless it's close
Unless
enough
you're in
to
their
smell your
face.
fart. Yeah, if it's close enough to smell your fart, that's when you can hit it with a Vex. But it definitely needs a range increase. Probably needs a damage increase in PvE, and just something else to make it a little bit special. I hear the catalyst makes it better, at least in terms of stability, because it kicks like a mule.
Mm-hmm.
But getting the catalyst isn't gonna save it from being the awful weapon that it is right now, and that's a bummer to me. It is. But on the other hand, Dead Man's Tale.
Yeah.
That's gonna get addressed sometime soon. How does everybody feel about that?
I've used the shit out of that on Cauldron. I have my disruption break GL and
Yeah.
farmed people on Stadia.
Oh my god.
Stadia.
On Stadia.
Those poor people have enough problems as it is.
They are having fun over there, and you're going to come over there and ruin their time. They're like, "What is that?"
hey, I need my flawlesses. I'm tired of playing heaters.
All's
I'm tired of
fair.
playing heaters.
All's
Right.
fair, baby. Do what you gotta do.
I think they just need to rework the callus.
Yeah.
I think they just need to rework the callus. The gun itself without the callus is fine, but you being able to shoot in the sky and still get headshots because you have flying rampants on needs to go. Okay.
To be fair, it's only a mouse and keyboard thing. It is.
That
not
is true.
really as used
That is
on
true.
console,
Right.
No, you're right,
controller.
because I was on console and I barely see it. I barely see it. To be honest, I don't know what they're going to do with it. It's like two different systems.
Yeah. It's funny because DMT is quite literally the last word as pre-patched the last word as a scout whistle. It's like,
D1 last word.
It's
That does more
D1 last
damage.
word.
Well,
You just did it again, Bungie.
and Chris during that firing range chat had talked about like how the last word was its own weird mix of balances, right?
Yeah.
Like there's
It's got its
like
own coding.
Yeah, it has so much weird custom stuff going into it. I wonder why they wouldn't like. I get why you would release like a DMT out into the world without like without doing the same treatment to it as last word, because last word is a known culprit, right?
Yeah.
DMT, like in testing, may have been that kind of commodity, like that kind of like problematic commodity, but you wouldn't know necessarily how quickly the community is going to take hold of that and then turn it into meta and then run with it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You know that the perks that you'd put on it are useful in certain situations, but that situation pops up a lot.
Vorpal.
Yeah.
Vorpal. Oh boy.
I wonder if they'll continue, like, post these after this year, when Harbinger and Presage are gone, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's the idea, is that they'll go until, Witch Queen, and then we'll
Come back
get
in
something
Legends.
else, right?
Mhm.
I wonder if there'll still be random rolls outside of those.
I
activities.
wonder about that too. Yeah. Because sitting here looking at my my Killing Wind and my Vorpal Headman's Tale, and
Right.
it's like,
Oh god.
mm.
Speaking of, I need to probably do that before it goes. Make sure I have it.
Get your hands on it now, because people are going
Yeah.
to be screeching for it later.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel the same way, Dan. I wonder if they're going to continue, because right now the only random world exotics we have are what, Hawkmoon and DMT.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those are the
Is
only
that it?
two. Which
I do wonder if they're going to leave it at that.
at the time
They-
of their release, I was like, "Oh yeah, cool, yeah, exotic should be randomly rolled." And now I'm like, "Oh no, maybe they shouldn't."
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Imagine being able to get Anarchy with Vorpal on it.
Oh my god. I have,
Listen, that gun is already in Bungie's sights.
yeah.
With getting nerfed.
With Breach and Clear, this is definitely a swan song. It
Yeah.
definitely feels like
Oh,
a
yeah.
swan song for Anarchy and the grenade meta, like or the grenade launchers like it. And I'm partially sad, and at the other side of it, I'm excruciatingly sad.
Yeah.
It's varying shades of sad on that front, but you got to do what you got to do. There was some controversy that came out of that conversation when it came to the talk of removing hot swap.
Yeah. There was a
What's-
lot of lot of issues with that.
Yeah, what's everyone's thoughts on that? Starting with you, BCube.
Uh,
Do you
I-
use hot swap?
no, because I don't know how to do it. I haven't actually. I know a lot of people can do it in the Crucible. I've seen other people do it, but I just never took the time to learn it. I just spec out to have some kind of a quick swap. I don't think it'd be groundbreaking. I mean, there are perks in the game that give you speed on you for swapping weapons anyway.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think, if somebody wants a fast swap, they'll be able to just do or get something that's high handling.
Yeah.
Maybe they see it as like that it's not, that handling option is obsolete. Like they can just do 2 clicks of the button and it's like handling's not there. Like I can get the slowest gun, but still be able to quick swap to another gun. I think
Right.
that's maybe why they're looking at it, but I don't see much of a problem with it, to be honest.
Honestly, I feel the same. It's not something I ever regularly took advantage of, and it's not something that really would affect me.
Mm-hmm.
So, the notion of it, and a lot of people just on PC macroed it
Yeah.
to try to get past the timing there.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see the issue there with people macroing it and using it for things like that. But honestly, I mean, it's not something I ever really used. It's something I appreciated when I watched Glad blow through raid boxes
Yeah.
with double slugs and anarchy. I think it's
Yeah.
awesome looking, but it's not something I ever used or was affected by. So like it doesn't really bother me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like it definitely. So the argument that I saw a lot of were people who are highly skilled, who do use it in those scenarios, like DPS,
Yeah,
and who are saying, "Hey, I mean, like it adds a skill ceiling, like another level to the ceiling in the game. It's a
Right.
trick that you can do that allows you to do better DPS, and basically, my understanding is that it's like learning how to take like a hat, throw it up in the air, and then land it on your head consistently, and just doing that over and over again at parties.
yeah.
It's a cool party trick. It's something neat to show people around you. Like, of course, it's a little bit more useful than throwing a hat on your head, but it's a thing that, while not everybody can do it, it is learnable.
Yeah.
It sounds like this kind of the same controversy with sword skating.
Yes.
With Worldline Zero. Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, I think it is, and I think that the argument that this is a learned skill that people could complete or could learn to complete here and use. I think that's a valid argument. It's not something everybody could do. It was a skill thing. It started as being people figuring out how to swap real quick, get those timings down, and so when it comes to that notion, yeah, I could understand why you'd be upset if like you work to learn how to do this thing and suddenly it gets taken out. Like if you're playing a fighting game and you get your frame right, your frame tight timings down, they're not going to punish you by adding in more buffer so you can't put your inputs in just as fast. I mean, I'm throwing out all these ATs and Smash, and Sakurai's not going to come in and body my timings because I'm doing that. Well, maybe he will in the next game. But so I understand that argument. When I understand that argument for people who like this as an ability. Like I said, it doesn't bother me because I never used it.
Right.
I don't really have a say in the conversation here. But I guess the big issue that Bungie's worried about there was macroing it. People just tying it to a specific key, pressing a button, and pushing through that. But really, was this useful in PvP?
Yes.
I don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
What were people doing with it in PvP?
Aggressive shotguns. Like
Oh.
you didn't need quick draw.
Oh
Mhm.
no.
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
somebody has a mind bitters with rampage and pulse wave and able to insta swap.
Oh no.
It's
Okay.
been in the game from that's been
The
in the
jump,
game forever. That was that's been in D1.
yeah.
But like since Bungie took out quick draw, they're like, okay, well now people are getting quick draw for like literally nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For no
Okay.
cost. I think the
Yeah.
idea there was that there was no cost to it.
Right,
Is that
yeah.
they're trying to create a game that is essentially it's just economy, right? Where like
Mhm.
when a perfect example that they bring up is breach and clear, right? It's worth
Yeah.
9 on your class item,
Yeah.
Big cost.
but it's good. Like
It's
like
100%
it's
worth.
worth the power
Absolutely.
to put in for that. And so they don't want those like freebies, like in the aspect whisper of hedrons,
Yes.
like that is another example of a freebie, right?
oh yeah.
Because
you
20
could
something
throw it
percent
on.
damage increase.
Yeah, you could throw it
Yeah.
on. There was no cost to put it on, and you got a 25% damage buff.
Speaking of that, I noticed like from what PvP I've played, I've noticed a lot less 120s, or I'm not getting 2-tapped by 120s as much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Magical how that happens when you're not being frozen every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
No, right, dude? Crazy.
It's weird.
I
It's
see a
almost
lot
like-
of 140s. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, there's 140s here. I could take out my dire. I don't have to fight somebody that's far away and can shoot like a scout rifle and hit me in the head, 90 damage.
Yeah. I've been seeing a lot of 140s and a lot of that new 180. What is it? The Survivor's Epitaph.
Oh yeah.
I think.
Oh, that's
I've been seeing-
good.
I've been seeing a lot of that. And that's good. We're seeing a bit of variety here now that you can't just freeze in one tap of the 120.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gosh, all that just for stasis.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
All that just for Stasis.
It just changed the whole dynamic of the game.
And I find that really interesting because you're seeing a completely different meta kind of develop
Mhm.
weapon-wise now that this subclass is not a thing there. And this is something else that they talk about during the Firing Range podcast. Bungie's desire to push things back to being less focused on ability kills and more focused on gunplay. That was a big topic of conversation there. And I just think it's funny how changing one element archetype, these stasis subclasses, can suddenly change up almost all the weapons that are being used in the game right now. I find
Yeah.
that really interesting. And Bungie still got some work to do. Scouts still need a lot of help.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need some love.
Well,
My scouts are on crutches.
and like Chris
Indeed.
talked about that a little bit, right? And he's like, they
He
don't
did.
want to push it too hard because like then you'll have the D2 year 1 meta.
Yeah.
Like
Mida.
yeah.
The D2 year 1 Mida.
Yeah.
It's the term.
That's a monster that they're afraid of.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like
And they should be.
yeah.
Because the entire trade-off there with Scouts is that it's a weapon that you can use from a generally safe distance. You can
Yeah.
outdamage most other things outside of other scout rifles, snipers, and pulse rifles.
And
Um,
that's another
So
thing
it-
that slows down gameplay though, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're moving back into the team shot, pot shot era
Yeah.
of D2, which is gross.
It was bad.
Not a lot of fun.
Right.
So they still have quite a bit of work to do there, and I think not having stasis in the way, not having Whisper of Hedrons and all this frozen nonsense in the way is only going to help with that. I look forward to the day where I can whip out a 450 auto rifle and not get destroyed again.
Oh, I love that new one, the Karma Rush.
Oh,
Chroma
Chroma
Rush,
Rush.
dude.
Chroma Rush. That thing's
That
good.
thing is
Good.
fantastic. I'm a big. I love all the weapons they've introduced this season.
Yeah.
I
That-
do too.
Yeah, the ignition code is hilarious because it just makes me laugh to think y'all nerfed the crap out of Mountaintop and then just kept introducing Mountaintops.
Mountaintops.
afterwards.
You
Get-
know what's a weapon that surprised the shit out of me?
What's that?
It is the sidearm from this season, the farewell.
Oh yeah, the farewell.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, it goes straight up and down. It is so nice. It just feels like tacky. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you know it's going right back to its spot. I got a rangefinder frenzy version of that. And
Okay.
gosh.
it's pretty bonkers. I really like it a lot. It's like, sure, I got to pull the trigger like 17 times in order to kill a guardian, but hey, who's counting? Right? As long as I'm having fun with it.
Yeah.
And
I enjoyed it on
the-
PS5.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the real high points of this season. The weapon design has been fantastic. And, one of the guys they had on the Firing Range podcast, Chris, was responsible for a lot of the perks that kind of get tied into that. We got to learn this dude is amazing. I think he said the first perk he designed. He's only been at Bungie for like a year and a half. I think he said.
Yeah. Since
But
2019.
But the first perk I think he said he designed when he went there was Killing Wind, which is one of my favorite perks right now. Killing Wind is such a ludicrously powerful ability that I don't think people oftentimes give the proper respect to. This thing gives you so many different buffs upon getting kills. Makes for such great synergy there. And this dude, he was responsible. That was the first perk he made. I wanted to stand up and cheer for this guy. It was great.
Yeah.
And
I haven't-
good.
I was gonna say I have it on my multi-mock.
Yeah.
That thing. Once you get a kill, it feels like a laser beam.
Yeah, so between the weapon design and the perk combinations and whatnot that we have this season, there's a lot to look forward to in the weapon pool, and so I greatly anticipate the weapon balance getting a little bit better, and things moving back towards a not necessarily a primary gunfight sort of environment, but certainly a PvP environment that's more focused on weapons. I'm definitely okay with that. Was there anything else in the podcast that we wanted to kind of focus on? I know there was a lot of really interesting questions there. Like they asked him, what were your three biggest sandbox triumphs? What were your three biggest sandbox regrets? And we got some interesting answers to that.
I think we've pretty much covered all that we can without ripping off their podcast. So what I'm going to do in the show notes is link directly to it, because I feel like it is a conversation that everybody who really pays attention to this kind of stuff in the community should watch.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. It reminded me back when Crucible Radio would have Hamrick. And,
Yeah, exactly.
And it felt nostalgic, and kudos to everybody who hosted that show, like Cool Guy and Fallout Plays, Drewski.
Our good buddies, yeah.
Yeah, they did a remarkable job of handling that. I can't imagine the expectations that were put on them and some of the hoops that they had to go through, but they did a wonderful job hosting that thing. That was a damn good piece of content.
It was a fantastic show. You guys should definitely go and check it out in its entirety. And you're right, 100% props to the DCP crew and through the Firing Range crew, Mercules, Fallout, Cool Guy, Cammy, Drewski, everybody who was there. It was an amazing show. Covered a lot of really interesting stuff. Would definitely recommend anybody listening to this show to go and listen to that one.
Yes,
especially if you're interested in the finer details of how the guns in Destiny work. After Kevin left, Chris went on for a while, basically answering almost everything that was asked of him. Like, how does aim assist work? Well, here's how aim assist works.
Yeah.
How does the cone work? How does bullet magnetism work? He got into all of it.
He also answered some questions they didn't ask.
Yeah.
And he even brought his own little game show category to the very end.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
Guess the development names. It was great. It was a good show.
Yeah,
Definitely
I like that. With that podcast, what I've watched from it, it just kind of reinforced that they still love the game. They're not, they're not going to leave it hung and dry and just be like, here you go. There's always some kind of meaning for them to actually bring something in. Like it's like, oh, let's just bring Stasis in. Let's see what it does. Test it out here and there, heard feedback, and they did the appropriate action and do what they need to do so that the game can actually be in a balanced state on both sides, on both ends.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. Just 7 years being in this game, and there's that time where like, man, they don't what's this going on? Like everything's just falling apart. It's like no, it's good to see behind the scenes. Like no, we know, we play it, we understand what's going on. It's all crazy stuff blowing up, but we'll get to it.
Yeah, it was fantastic stuff, and I think you're right. Bungie's still got that fire under them. They've still got that passion to make this to make Destiny as a franchise one that lasts even beyond the 7 years that it's already been going, which is wild to think about. 7 years Destiny has been going on. Doesn't feel like it.
No.
Doesn't feel like it.
There's always something new every week.
Every week. Ooh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But
21 and young and actually just golden days. Built nice, and now I'm here, kind of chubby, dad bod, still playing,
still playing Destiny.
Yeah,
that is the constant. But it's good. We've got a lot to look forward to in the future, and I think I'm going to be sticking with it for a while longer. There's a lot of good stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, all right. I think that caps off the firing range segment of the show. I think we only had one or two real quick news stories before we get into audience questions, right?
Real quick. They teased a bit about Witch Queen at the end of the TWAB.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to see the hunter from the shoulders up, and it's in what appears to be really bitchin' armor, and then the background was something that I think has been teased in lore before, or at least that's what like the videos that I've been watching on YouTube have said.
Yes. Everybody's been extrapolating quite a bit out of the one photo Bungie put out.
Yeah.
But I'll try to condense it here. Essentially, it looks like you're in a swamp. The hunter's standing in a swamp, which would call back to a lot of, I think, even pre-release D1 dev footage of old Chicago, which was hinted at a long time ago as being a place we'd go and have to deal with a witch queen. It was talked about 7 years ago, like we were saying, and it seems to finally be coming true now with, of course, the Witch Queen dropping next year. And so people are speculating that we might be heading over to Chicago, as it is in the Destiny lore, maybe finally getting out of Europe and Russia.
If that happens, I want Shuba's to be a lost sector. Now, those of you in chat probably don't know what Shuba's is. It is a club that I used to play.
Oh, wow.
When I was in bands. And it was wonderful. It was a great club. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. Saw some real fun shows there. At the same time, I would love to see like that little detail put in.
It'd be cool, man.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
If it gets put in, it's because me.
It's like Dan did this.
Yeah, they're like, oh, they
As
actually
long as we
listen.
get an Angry Dan Eververse emote to go along with it. Stand on the stage and glare.
That was in Cincinnati, but I'll take it.
We'll take it. But yeah, so that was the bit of a tease that Bungie put out at the end of the TWAP. They did say they'd be giving us more information on the Witch Queen soon. I'd imagine that'll probably be sometime at the end of this summer. Maybe whenever Season 15 is getting ready to get started, since we know Season 15 is going to be going on until next year when Witch Queen drops.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
we don't have a release date for Witch Queen yet. We just know it's going to be early 2022.
right.
Yeah.
So when this time last year, I want to say like around E3 is when they put out the information for Beyond Light and dropped the Dungeon Prophecy. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I completely
do
forgot
remember
about
that.
E3. You're right.
I do remember that.
That's right around the corner. I want to say it's like 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
I thought
gotta
that
say
was
is
cool.
kind of weird. I forgot about E3. It's only the biggest gaming
Yeah.
convention of the year. It's been a weird year, folks.
Well, E3 is always E3 for the past couple of years has been super weird. So I don't.
Yeah.
I don't blame you for not remembering E E3.
No, you're totally right. We probably will be learning more about Witch Queen there at E3. Bungie always has some kind of presence, either during the Sony show or during the Microsoft show, where they'll take the stage for about 5 minutes and show off new trailers and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we might actually be learning about that earlier than I would have expected, which is thumbs up for me.
Heck yeah.
Looking forward to it. Good stuff. I think the only other news story other than Iron Banner coming this week is that we got a fashion show starting up.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we've got transmog options, we can actually do fashion in an easy format. So go ahead, get your Guardians all dressed up, find your best look. I think you just have to tweet it at the Destiny the Game Twitter account with like what is the hashtag they want you to use?
So snag a photo of the Guardian in the Guardian appearance screen showing your armor set and shader selections. That is a must-have. They providing an additional picture of your Guardian in the wild is not required, but may get you some extra points. And to submit your photo on Twitter or Instagram with the hashtag Splicer Fashion Show to enter.
Right.
They'll be sharing winners from June 7th through June 12th. So starting tomorrow, for those of you who are listening live. But yeah, if you win, they'll contact you with the new emblem, which looks pretty awesome.
Yeah. So get out there, play dress up, win that emblem. It's going to be easier than ever to participate in this now because, again, we have the transmog system, the Guardian customization system, and I'm looking forward to seeing what people come up with. I mean, we've already been seeing that over the last week.
Yeah.
I've seen so many different cosplays. Every form of Spider-Man has been cosplayed in Destiny now, and it's great. I love it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what else people come up with. I'm hoping our buddy Nim Plays enters because he has been LARPing as the Winter Wraith for so long now. It's basically an established character in canon, so I want to see him go for it. Everybody else, is anybody else here going to try to get into it?
Yeah.
Nope.
I was gonna get a hold of Nim. I was gonna get a hold of Nim to get me some headshots.
You gonna hire him to take some
Be
studio photos?
Just me against like a wall. Just like this. If there's an emote that's just like this, then yeah. That's what I want.
Professional.
Yeah.
Good work.
Maybe some laser beams in the background.
Oh,
Get that Sears look going.
Just have the Guardian in the back behind you.
Yeah.
It'd be in the wild, so I mean it's technically extra points.
I'm gonna drag Mega Magwitch out of retirement and have him and the Husky Raid Boys shoot me an entire music video. Good stuff, though. I'm looking forward to it. But all right, I think that pretty much covers all the news of the week, which officially brings us to the end of the show where we generally answer a few questions from the audience.
Yes.
Do we have some lined up?
We have a few. King of Questions, Grey Fox 2K30 asks, with stories of Saint 14 being told by the Fallen showing him as a monster, what other stories are you looking forward to from the other side of the looking glass of our enemies?
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Like I told Dan earlier, we kind of just woke up. Here's a gun. Go shoot some things.
Shoot these guys.
Just shoot those people.
They're keeping you away from your guns.
That's the D1. I personally think that Zavala's going to betray us. What's our Warlock leader name again?
Ikora.
Ikora is going to be now in control of like maybe the speaker side, I guess the lead. And I think the Witch Queen is going to take control of half of our casts. And I think the whole thing is a whole bunch of simulation.
We're not going into leak territory, just so you know, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I haven't seen none of that.
Yeah.
I think the notion of hearing about our exploits from the side of our enemies is really interesting. And it's something Bungie's delved into before, specifically with Saint 14.
Yeah.
If you remember the original mission where we went into the Infinite Forest and found his grave, the Vex built a shrine to that dude because he fought them for like 100 years. They respected that man so much. They built a shrine out of their dead bodies for him. I thought that was really interesting. So it was really cool to see the cutscene this week with how the Fallen view him basically as the devil.
Yeah.
I would love to see, if they think Saint 14's the devil, what do they think of us? Like Cube said, we woke up. We woke up. Our ghost said, "Here, take this and shoot everybody." We have killed their Kells. We have killed their prime servitors. We have killed every leader, every major leader.
Whole houses.
This crazy ass dude named Skolas from the House of Wolves pulled Fallen from all points in time by raiding the Vault of Glass. We killed. Not only did we didn't even kill him. We grabbed him, we spanked him with his own 4 arms, we took him to jail, then we killed him in jail. we have bodied hive gods. We took out Crota, we took out the Death Singers, we took out Oryx, the leader of basically the largest contingent of hive in the universe. We clapped the hive so bad, their whole family's coming at us for revenge. The only reason Savathun is showing her face in our system is because Oryx isn't here anymore.
Yeah.
We clapped Zal, we clapped Nokris. We went into the heart of the Black Garden, found the thing that the Vex worship, and blew it up because it didn't speak our language.
It didn't speak our language.
I want to know what legends. Our enemies tell about our Guardian.
Yeah.
The things that we do. Got to be a fantastic story to tell.
It would. So first of all, the way that they're telling the stories in the past couple seasons, where like they're doing it in this storybookish way, is really remarkable and a really smart way of using their resources.
I agree.
Without overusing them, like all of these things could be really elaborate cutscenes, right? But they tell it in such a wonderful way in that storybook pastiche, I guess.
I like it.
That's really cool. And I could see something like seeing this out of the Elixir, talking about Saint 14. I could see something from the Hive, especially Savathun, weaving a story about us.
Oh, absolutely.
At the beginning of Witch Queen. Like that would be interesting. I that seems way more plausible than seeing it from a Vex perspective or anything like that. But seeing that from like possibly the biggest bad in Destiny history and hearing what she would have to say of us, especially with the trickster god kind of thing going for it. It would be very interesting.
They've built up so much mystique around Savathun as it is thus far that I'm almost certain, and again, we're not talking any spoilers here, this is pure speculation on my part, I'm almost certain that her story isn't going to end the same way Crotus did. It's not going to end the same way Oryx's did. We're not going to get in I doubt we'll get into a bare knuckle fight with her. I almost think at some point in time, she's going to wind up trying to ally with us. Because that seems more her style than anything else. And I'm right there with you when it comes to the way that they've told the story this season in the storybook fashion. Because it is probably less intensive than mocapping entire cutscene.
Yeah.
Yoshi's story kind of book sort of thing. And I dig that. I think it's been effective, especially in telling the things from the perspective of the Fallen. I think I don't think most people had really thought about this beloved character like Saint 14. Everybody loves Saint. He's this big, lovable, bird-feeding monster of a man. Nobody thought about him as the literal devil until you start thinking, oh, well, I guess from the Fallen perspective, this dude who's like tearing through all of their houses would be the literal devil. And I think Bungie did an effective job of showing that through the kind of storybook environment they're providing here with Mithrax and the House of Light. I like it. I like it a lot.
So can I provide a theory?
Sure.
Please.
Shoot the moon.
So what if the story that they were telling was actually the darkness side of Saint 14? So what if we have a counterpart of us? Like, what if we woke up the light side and then the darkness is literally us on the darkness side? Like, we had the raid, that whole storyline at the end, it was us. So what if they're looking at two different perspectives? What if Saint 14 during that timeline was actually the darkness part of him killing all those people? And then what if they changed up the story and was like, I have no memory of it. So what if we have a counterpart out there that we at the end will actually have the face, like
that would be very
that's
Kingdom
the
Hearts of them.
Yeah.
That's some real Kingdom Hearts.
I love Kingdom Hearts.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think that's kind of the beauty of the storytelling they're doing right here. There's a million different ways they could go.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I mean, we still haven't even gotten an explanation for why we ourselves popped up at the end of Garden of Salvation to tell us that salvation was coming. That was never explained. It just kinda happened. We got spooked and left, and then it was never addressed again. So I'm looking forward to learning more about that.
Frankie M3 in chat brings up wanting to know the Cabal side. I think we already know the Cabal side of it, right? From back in Destiny 1 when we got those transmissions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's like we keep killing them and they keep dancing around us.
Oh yeah, those lore bits. We keep killing them. The same ones keep coming back, and then when they kill us, they dance on our graves.
They're just dancing. What is this?
Like, bro, these guys are weird, man.
You must attack their city.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go take their ball.
Yeah. It's our ball now. We're going home. Frankie M3 asks, what story would you this kind of ties into what Gray Fox had asked. What story would you like to be told like Mithrax's? The Crows, the Queens, more the Stranger Things?
Ooh.
I want to learn more about the Stranger's timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that we know she's from an alternate reality, because I want to know what her timeline was like. I want to know who the hell she was talking to in D1. They still haven't, as far as I know, they still haven't addressed that. They played it like it was supposed to be a big story point in D1, and then never got addressed. Doesn't have time to explain.
Wouldn't it have been Big Papa Brayhead?
Maybe,
but
only maybe, because they never. For a while, I thought it was Rasputin.
Yeah.
And I think that might have fit with the original story that they were trying to tell before they rewrote a bunch of stuff for D1. Since the original story for D1 was supposed to have us going and saving the exo body of Rasputin from the Dreadnought, and so I feel like that might have been a leftover thing from that. But who knows? I'd love to know though. I think LightrazerDD's right. Exploring that story would be perfect.
I think it'd be cool. It'd be pretty dope seeing what other universes that withhold from us.
Yeah.
I want to know more about the darkness though. I want to see
Yeah.
Like who are they? They just came in our system like, hey, we're a bunch of triangles. We killed y'all off like millions of years ago, but we're back and we're just going to take some of your planets.
We're cool now, right? You can have these icy powers that's going to ruin your crucible. We're cool though, right?
Yeah.
Listen, here's the trade-off. We're going to take a few of your worlds. You're going to get a new flavor of Doritos.
Yeah.
All right.
There was one story back around the beginning of Forsaken where it was about the Guardian who never wanted to be resurrected. And so he would go around killing ghosts and attaching them basically like on a fishing line and dragging them around behind him.
Okay.
Oh,
Like it was the most metal story in Destiny. And I want to see it animated like they did the Saint 14 thing, cuz it's still like the idea of it still haunts my mind.
Guy's still out there.
Yeah, he's still out
that's
there.
gruesome.
He's still killing ghosts that are trying to look for their guardians, and he is still like just dragging them around.
The Jason Voorhees of Guardians.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be interesting to cover too. Who the hell was that?
Yeah, I can't remember. Like they gave him a name, and I was just like, "Oh, this is badass."
Yeah.
This is bad.
I want some John Carpenter coverage of this, please.
It's like, yep, that's John Wick.
Mm-hmm. Final question. Gjallarhorn comeback win.
To be completely honest, I don't want it to come back. If they did Vex Mythic class like that, I'm scared what kind of perk combination they'll do with the Gjallarhorn.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. Man, that hurts. That takes the wind out of the sails. Because Vex is so bad right now. It is so bad. I used to say, there's probably no chance Bungie would ever bring it back. I don't know if that's quite the case anymore. They've made a habit out of bringing back older exotics now. And I think with the exception of Pocket Infinity, they probably will at least attempt to bring all the D1 exotics in some form. Outside of the obvious ones they don't need to bring back, like, it's probably going to make some people mad, but Jalo Supercell, probably not going to get touched because it's redundant with Risk Runner.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got Risk Runner.
And Trinity Ghoul. They're basically all do the same thing, so we probably wouldn't be seeing that. But honestly, I think, Bungie's probably going to be planning on bringing Gjallarhorn back at some point in time, especially since we already have rockets that do what it did. Deathbringer does what it did, except without the impact damage. I don't know if they'd be changing its ability, though.
What would it be? Like, would it be like maybe 2 last impression rockets? I'd shoot out of 1. I don't know.
Well, yeah, and see with how powerful rockets are right now. That's why I don't think bringing back Gjallarhorn would really break anything. But it also might not be unique enough to stand out.
Yeah, I mean you have it kind of split between Wardcliff Coil, any of the tracking rocket launchers. Like it has comparisons in Destiny 2 with it has references in Destiny 2 without actually being here.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't think it necessarily needs to come back. Actually, I don't want it to come back at all.
I think it will just based on nostalgia. I think they'll use it as a nostalgia selling point at some point in time.
Do you think?
Yeah,
not necessarily a bad thing. maybe
bad.
Maybe a little cheesy. That's an easy button win for them to make some money. But I think I think it just like it did in Rise of Iron, where they build they made a big deal out of the Iron Gjallarhorn, having that as being what was that like a pre-order bonus or something like that.
Yeah. I was just going to make a joke about. Do you think that they'll put an ornament in the Eververse the week that it comes out? But then again, I was like, that's not a joke. That's just a guarantee.
That's reality.
It's pain.
Yeah, 100%. So
I think I really other from Gjallarhorn, I really hope. Well, I know they're going to do it, but I want them to embrace their creative side. I want them to make Destiny 2 Destiny 2. I know that they're bringing back a lot of this nostalgia stuff, but I want them to if I want to go play Destiny 1 and play with the guns, I'll go play Destiny 1 and the guns.
Exactly.
But I want them to go in and be like, hey, we don't have we haven't redesigned this map, but this is a totally new weapon or totally new level or just mix it up.
Exactly. I think that'd be the best way to do it, because like I said, you bring back Gjallarhorn in the exact form it was, say, in Age of Triumph. I don't think it's unless you put ridiculous amounts of damage modifiers on it. I don't think it stands out.
No.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of really unique, really powerful weapons. We've got Anarchy. We've got Deathbringer. We've got Lament. We've got all these really unique things here in the game right now. If you just port 1-to-1 over the Gjallarhorn, it's not really going to stand out. And so I think if they were going to bring it back, they would heavily advertise it, and they would have to make its ability really, really unique.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
the only thing exotic about it right now is Wolfpack rounds.
Yeah. And
Yep.
we like 3 other rockets have that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
in
true.
different names, but Deathbringer, Wardcliff Coil, those are all basically the same thing.
Yup.
We'll see though.
And those are all the questions fit to print.
All the questions fit to print. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I do believe that brings us to the end of episode 281 of the Planet Destiny podcast. This one's been a lot of fun. We got to go through a lot of big information in this one, and I'm glad we got a chance to do it. Very special thanks to our guest tonight, BCube. Thanks so much for joining us, man.
Thank you. If y'all want to bring me back, I'm dope. Yeah, I'm done. This is fun.
Absolutely. Literally any time. It was great to have you here, man.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Right on. And also, big thanks to our special guest host, LightrazerDD, buddy. Great to have you on tonight, man.
Great to be back.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always good to get your opinion, especially on some PvP stuff, since this man's over there on Stadia clapping poor unsuspecting teams. And you know, since it's on Stadia, he clapped the same team like 3 times.
Hey, I used that loadout on Steam and did go flawless that weekend.
I watched their stream on the other end, and they were like, "We came to Stadia to get rid of this. Why?" And they just cried for like 40 minutes straight. You should.
Who is this? His name's LightrazerDD. Does he get him? Does he stream? That's fine.
All of a sudden, it's the storybook story. It's the story of how LightrazerDD murdered them in black and white.
The story of Stadia. LightrazerDD with his DMT, floating with his Warlock.
Narrated by Mithrax.
Narrated by Mithrax. Let me tell you our story of the LightrazerDD.
The lightning comes in, it's all just light. It's no skeleton, none. It's just light. It's just blind everybody.
Light in the shotgun.
Hey, I got a new one. I don't use the Fell Winters anymore. I got a new one.
You put it down? What you replace it with?
Oh.
Found Verdict.
Oh no. What's the roll? Tell me the roll.
I have like 2. Basically, I have Fell Winters with the Vorpal, like pretty much, and like what is it, Small Bore, and then I have an opening shot one, which with a little more handling, but
oh no,
I'm looking for a better one.
Oh no.
It blows my mind.
I got a Found Verdict with auto loading holster and Killing Wind with a range masterwork.
However you hit that 8 meters, hit it. It blows my mind that Bungie went through all this effort to nerf Astral Horizon and Fellwinters, and then just introduces Found Verdict. I'm sitting here with I've got a full choke, Accurize, slide shot, Vorpal weapon one with a handling masterwork. It's basically replaced my Fellwinters.
I haven't used Found Verdict too much. It's I don't know. I can't get used to the barrel. I had to look at their feet just to hit their mid.
Yeah. There's a bit more to the model there than there is with the classic Fellwinters. But it's nutty. It's a great shotgun. Good stuff. But before we get on out of here, we are going to let you guys know where you can find our guests for the evening, starting with Mr. Cube. If you'd like to take the floor, tell everybody where they can find you.
I'm usually streaming on Twitch. I am BCube. I'm on Twitter as BCube Guy because I'm trying to fight the guy to give me my get BCube, but he doesn't want to give it up. So, and I do have a TikTok. I do have a TikTok too. I post here and there, but you'll see me like post some memes with my kids and having a good time on there sometimes.
Right on, right on. Make sure you go and check them out. And again, thanks so much for joining us tonight. It was fantastic having you on the show.
Thank you.
absolutely welcome back literally anytime you'd like. Next up, I guess, would be you, Mr. LightRazor. Where you at, dog?
You can find me at LightrazerDD, unfortunately, because I can't get LightRazor on Twitch, even though account is still inactive for the last 3 years. So still salty about that. So yeah, LightrazerDD on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, all that stuff. Managed to get at least that all the same.
How about on Stadia? Is it LightRazorDD there?
No, it is LightRazor. I got regular LightRazor there with the number.
Making sure.
The one he didn't want.
And the report. Right on, man. Thanks for joining us tonight and hosting the show. Good stuff. Great to have you here. Dan, what about you, man?
Oh, hi! My name's Danfinity. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and the TikTok at Danfinity, where the eyes are else. You can also find me on Twitch 3 days a week. Just doing stuff. I'm just doing stuff, hanging out in Destiny 2 this week, for the most part. I think we're going to do some Iron Banner. We might dip into a little bit of Returnal or Mass Effect. I don't know. We got all sorts of crazy things going on. I'm on vacation for the next 2 weeks, so we're about to get real weird. Fine with it.
Vacation.
I dig that. 2 weeks of fun. That's what I'm talking about, man.
It really snuck up on me. My boss told me I had it, and I was like, oh, cool.
Oh.
So
It's
It's like, all right.
I'm in
take
it.
those.
Yep.
Well, right on. I hope you enjoy that, man. Of course, my name is The Black Link. You can find me pretty much everywhere on the internet, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all at The Black Link. We had a couple live streams last week. At least 2. Played a little bit of D2. Played a little bit of Monster Hunter Rise. Had a new update for that drop. And have been diving into that nonstop. Been playing a lot of Final Fantasy XIV again, as I am known to do every every couple of months or so. Got to get ready for the new expansion that's dropping on that later this year. So if we do have live streams, it's the usual Monday to Friday, 11 a.m., about 1, 2 in the afternoon. And for any Destiny news videos and all that kind of stuff, you can find those at the Planet Destiny YouTube channel, youtube.com/Planet Destiny. Make sure you tune in. But all right, everybody, that is it for this episode 281 of the Planet Destiny podcast, your guide to This Week in Destiny. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you all next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.